Well, what is up everybody? Welcome back to another episode of I Have to Solve First World Problems, and today's first world problem is the 3D printer. So, if you haven't been following the channel for the past while, you may be very aware, you may not be very aware, but I happen to have a 3D printer and it's terrible. And there are multiple occasions where it does and it just doesn't work, and I bought it for cheap, like as a Black Friday deal about a year ago, and it's not the greatest, and it's been more often down than up. And about a couple months ago and more recently, I've had a bit of a job. In fact, I've had quite a few jobs with the printer of actually manufacturing things for actual money on it, and haven't been able to get through to that, and I haven't been able to get it all fully done because the printer's been down so much and it's just annoying. So there's quite a big list of problems, only like one or two of which are going to be solved in today's video. A lot of this is being recorded in the past, and this footage is actually being shot like a couple days in the future. In fact, when you're watching this, it's kind of the same day I filmed this, so if you're watching like on release day, it's that chaotic. A lot of the other stuff, it's got a lot of parts that I ordered. Some of it I have been able to work around, but one part does happen to be necessary, and that is, we'll get into that. But yeah, so I'm just gonna drop you into the footage from a couple days ago, which will probably explain things a bit better and even give you a bit of a sneak peek into the job that I've been kind of doing. So yeah, let's get right into it. Well, what is up everybody? Welcome back to another episode of I Have First World Problems That Need to Be Solved in the Next Short While. Or anyways, so if you've kind of seen all this stuff or read the title, you probably know what I'm talking about. It's my 3D printer again. It's annoying, and if you haven't been on the channel, yes, I have a 3D printer, and it's annoying to work with. So there's a huge list of issues that are going to be probably resolved in today's video, and some ranging from simple, some ranging to intermediate. But yeah, so this video is kind of going to be a bit of a long one with a few rants in place, because there's a lot of things that are just annoying to me when I work with these printers, and even though there are some solutions, I don't even know why these solutions haven't been marketed. So basically a bit of backstory. So obviously I have my printer, but what's been happening is that I've been getting a bit of a job. I've had a bit of a job lately where I've had to be printing out stuff. In fact, I have one of the things that I'm supposed to be printing. This is for a subscriber of the channel who works at my school's greenhouse, and or at least has some involvement with it. I'm not sure which type, but yeah, but he put together an STL file for these things, which are supposed to suspend pipes and stuff. This is the orange PETG one. He wants it made in PETG because it needs to kind of survive. It needs to have above average UV protection, even though I'm not sure that PETG is well known for that, but it exists, I guess. You know, it's the same stuff they make the plastic bottles out of, and it's been working fine. In fact, I got like 75% through the order all in last week, and that's also because I went with the 1mm nozzle, which is like super thick. In fact, I think you could probably even see the print lines on camera. So thick. But yeah, but what had happened is that he kind of threw a bit of a nail in the works when he made a revision 2 that has like details in it, that has like really fine details and text in it, and it really threw a nail in the works, because, well, now I can't just go straight to printing 1mm all the time, because now I've got to do stuff that are in actually high resolution print stuff. So I kind of negotiated it down to have like 2 with the normal 0.4 standard nozzle, and then some with the full-on 1mm nozzle like this, which is kind of accounts for the rest of them. Also, kind of at the end of it, he kind of messaged me and may or may not have found the very cursed print and place models that you can find everywhere on the internet. Like, in this case, Dwayne the Lobster Johnson, which is kind of a cursed model to work with, but yes. So, I've got to have my printer at least readied up for printing out all the print and place things and stuff, so it's you know, it's a thing. So yeah, and so I've got to get things ready, and you know, the printer itself is down, obviously, because, well, there's all of its extruder guts, you know, some spare parts, and we're going to be fixing that today. In fact, we're also going to be kind of fixing up the housing a bit, because there are a few issues that I'm having, most notably the cooling fan. Apparently the nozzle ran over the actual wire for it and caused a nasty short, and oh boy, I was seeing magic smoke for about a good minute or two. And so yeah, I'm going to replace this wire so it isn't as much of a safety hazard as it was in the past. Luckily it's not all of it, it's really just like past one of my older, sketchier wiring / soldering jobs, and then just, you know, bit past it and it's all clean, and luckily on the side of the printer's disconnect it's perfect. So yeah, and the big problem is that I've had to solder a lot of things because, you know, the stuff that's crimped uses a crimp that I don't have, because, you know, 3D printing, this is first time we've ever had 3D printers, really, and I've only had this printer for about a year or so now, and yeah. And yeah, and the big problem is that we also need to assemble this extruder, and unfortunately I have the heating element here, but it's normally this is supposed to be crimped, but yeah, and unfortunately the crimps kind of didn't stay on right, and well, and I don't have any of these, so I really can't do anything about it except try and solder it together. But I've developed a strategy that exists and holds it on for about the next week, which should be okay. I mean, it's not really a good thing to do. Ideally, I should find the crimps, but I don't know. It's just, I'm too tired to do stuff like this, so you know what? Yeah. And also, we gotta get the new throats in here, even though I've had these for a while. In fact, these ones are actually kind of used and kind of reminiscent of one of the big issues that my printers had, and that's the fact that it likes to, a lot of the filament likes to just come out of the top of the heat block, and it's like, it's just annoying. You know, and I'm surprised I was able to recover anything at all from it. And, you know, because we're printing PETG here, and it's just annoying. And in fact, that's kind of one of the sheer incompetency parts of it. And yeah, there's also all the stuff, it's all ready, and yeah. And so let's get into it, I guess. Alright, so the first order of business that I'm going to take care of is the fan wire, because this is just a bit messed up. And I'm just going to cut it off at the point where it's not doing that great, or I didn't do the best of trying to do heat shrink, because I don't have lighters or anything, so I can't just heat shrink it. So I use the soldering iron to heat shrink it. In fact, we'll be seeing a bit of that later on, and you know, and let's just snip. And yeah, so luckily I have tons of wire that's like this, so what I can do is I can just take some of this one. In fact, this is actually the original, and we're not going to just splice it. We're just going to have this connector, because what has to happen is that, because my printer is so weird, I need to actually modify the connectors, and so I end up with usually huge amounts of wire left over from all these jobs, and I just, you know, and so we're going to just do yet another round of snipping on these connectors, and yeah. Alright, and there we go. We've got our power all hooked up and running, and our normal fan is doing fan things. In fact, you're going to be getting subjected to ASMR from my fan, I guess. Alright, very cool. On to the next order of business, and yeah. And by the way, I've been kind of powering these things off, and you're going to be seeing this power supply a lot. It's a power supply that I've had for a few years. It's kind of one of those typical MS305D type power supplies. I got it for like $50 forever ago. Now, this, unlike the actual printer, never failed on me, so yeah. I guess because this is more analog hardware, even though it's got the digital readouts. Digital readouts are just more of a separate bit of hardware. But anyways, so yeah. So, on to the next order of business, which is to reconstruct this, which is the extruder mechanism, or the extruder nozzle, to say the least. So, the big problem with this is that the heating element, it's there, it works. It actually works perfect, but it doesn't. But obviously the crimps came off, and I don't have any of the actual manufacturer recommended / everybody should have these type crimps. If I could focus in on it. And then we've also, because it's kind of a new build, we got to put in our thermocouple, which is a nightmare, to say the least. Anyway, so yeah, so there's a little bit of the annoyances of it. I'm just going to kind of jump cut here, and I'm probably going to film this off camera or do it whenever, because honestly, you know what, I kind of want to take a break for the day. It's literally, yeah, it's kind of, these printers are just annoying to work with, and it's kind of a not very good design, half of these cheap ones, and also my camera's battery is dying, so I'm just going to kind of leave this segment off here. So basically where this footage left off that I'm kind of cutting out, basically where I cut off that footage, I kind of did a lot of work off camera to try and see if I could get the temperature sensor and the heat cartridge to go in correctly, but unfortunately it didn't really work out that great. The temperature sensor actually went in perfectly, but the heater cartridge just didn't go that great because, well, I'm trying to solder something that isn't supposed to be soldered, so yeah. So to remedy this, I have ordered up a new heater cartridge, and alongside that I have ordered up one of those new heat cartridge kits where instead of it being the terrible design of just having a little channel for the actual sensor part of the sensor to go in, and then you have to do a bit of messing around with the actual wiring just to get it to screw in properly. Yeah, it's just as simple as just screw it in, plug it in, you're good. Unfortunately though, it's a bit of a problem, and the printer's going to be down for a while, so that's fun. Besides, it kind of checks out because it really is, because currently where I am, the weather is kind of not that great for printing, because it's kind of hot, it's starting to get a bit humid, and even though I've been starting to put my filament in dry boxes, and the active filament that I need to print with on whatever I'm trying to print is now put into the dry box, it's still not the most ideal situation. So yeah, so that's where I'm going to leave off today's video. In about 2 weeks, because next week begins the new month, and if you're new around here, I do monthly live streams which had been turning into weekly up until this video. But yeah, I do a monthly announcement stream. Next week is Splatfest, so if you're into Splatoon or Splatoon 3, you can get in and join in on the thing. I typically live stream Splatoon if I'm doing nothing really. And then yeah, the week after that, we're gonna have part 2 out because the stuff will arrive long before then. So yeah, so if you like what you saw, please leave a like and subscribe. follow for more, because part 2 will be a huge thing. You know, because that'll be bringing the printer back, and hell, probably by the time that video is uploaded, all of my obligations with the printer will be completed, and we could go back to some kind of peace with the printer. But anyways, so yeah, thank you for watching, and bye.